Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Weeknight Cooking with Heart's Desire Spice Blends. And tonight we're doing something that's not always as easy, but so far has had rave reviews. This last weekend, we were at the Moore Meadery doing a food and mead tasting. And this is one of the stars of the show, Honey Glazed Chai Chicken. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And Lily shared the recipe with us. So what we need first is 4.5 to 5 pounds of chicken, legs, wings, whatever you like. And we like the small ones because all the flavor penetrates so well. Anyway, fire up the grill because this thing is totally tasty. We're going to start off with brining our chicken. So we have about 4.5 pounds of chicken right on over here. And let's start with the brine. What we're going to need is 2 bags of Tazo sweet wild orange tea. This is very tart, gives a lemony orangey flavor to our brine. 3 cups cold water, 1 cup of hot water, 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger sliced up in small pieces. You want all that flavor to be able to go right into your brine. About 1/4 cup of kosher salt, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of Heart's Desire chai spice, still the blend of the month till the 30th. And 1/2 tablespoon of garlic ginger paste. Garlic ginger paste is something that normally you can find at specialty food stores, but I didn't have any. So what did I do? I learned how to make it. And for those of you who want to know how to make it, you're going to be using 1.5 tablespoons of fresh minced ginger to 1 tablespoon of fresh minced garlic, and you're done. At least for this recipe. We're going to be starting with 1 cup of hot water and our 2 tea bags. Go ahead and plop these bad boys in. I love the smell of this stuff. Let that steep for about 5 minutes. Put it aside. We're going to be adding our salt and sugar to the warm water so it dissolves after this is steeping for a little while. And we are also going to now use our chicken. Now you'll notice I've done something strange here. I've got me a Ziploc bag and a bowl with all this chicken in it. I didn't want to have to handle the chicken a whole lot. So we're going to be putting a lot of our ingredients right in here. When we're done with the brine, we're going to close this bad boy up and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. Yes, 24 hours. So what we're going to need to do is chai spice, garlic ginger paste, fresh ginger. Look at that, yum. And 1/2 cup of orange juice. Now, these can go aside, and this can also go off to the side because we need to deal with the sugar, the salt, and the tea. So our tea has been here. We can actually pump the tea bags like so to get them to steep a bit more. Now, the way Lily did this was a little different. Actually, having the tea bags sit in cold water for 1/2 hour. If you're like me, I don't like to wait that long. So I take shortcuts for you guys and just kind of try to make it a little easier. Now we can pull the tea bags and put in our salt and our sugar and give this a stir. Now, what I put in the instructions is to not only put these together, but also put them together with 1 more cup of cold water. And we're going to do that, but we're going to do that in a way where we can rinse out this of any leftover sugar and salt when we do it. Now, why am I just not pouring this right into the bag? Well, the heat from the hot water will actually start cooking the chicken. That's a big no-no. And so we want to temper this or bring it down to at least room temperature before we let it touch any of that chicken. And that's why the 3 cups of cold water. So, got another bowl right here. This goes right on in. See that salt there? I'm going to scrape that on in and get me 1 cup of cold water. Now, oftentimes, one of the reasons why I have salt in there still. Why didn't it dissolve? It's hot water, right? Because water can only absorb so much at a certain temperature, and so much at all. It doesn't matter if it's boiling. So anyway, we want to make sure that there's enough water for that salt to dissolve and the sugar to dissolve. The sugar dissolved really nicely, but the salt did not. We're looking much better now. I don't see any salt on the bottom here. Now I can take my remaining 2 cups of water and temper that even more. Why didn't I do that to begin with? Because I wanted that water still warm in order to dissolve the rest of that salt. Now we bring this back over. Oh my gosh, look at all the spices and stuff like that on there. Oh heaven. We're going to be very carefully, or else it will slosh, pouring our tea over our spices, over everything in there. And now the key here is to escape all the air as much as possible. Why? So that all of that chicken has contact with the brine. And we want full contact with the brine as much as possible. So if the chicken is touching air instead of water, it's not in contact with the brine. It's not soaking up those wonderful flavors. Now, give this a shake, because I had chai spice up on top of the water here. And guess what? It is now doing a great job of submerging the chicken at all times. And this can go in the fridge until tomorrow. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going on to the glaze. What do we need for the glaze? 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. It's beautiful, it's rich, it's sweet, it's wonderful. 1 tablespoon of that garlic ginger paste. 1/2 cup of honey. Oh yeah. 1/2 cup of orange juice. 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of Harts desired chai spice. You're not getting away that easy, not out of that stuff. 1/4 teaspoon of coriander. Why coriander? Because it's nutty, it's citrusy, and it's just the right thing for this. We want something very citrusy, very fruity, and with just the perfect amount of acid, which is why we put the tea in that brine, because that raises the acidity level of the brine without it going vinegary, and we like that. So I'm going to start off with our honey. Isn't that gorgeous? That is local honey from here in Azalea. Oh, great stuff. Local honey cannot be beat. Seriously. And it's local raw honey, which means that all of the flavor notes are still just packed in that stuff. Orange juice. Yum. This is our balsamic vinegar. Look at that. It's so sweet and aromatic. I love it. Soy sauce. Olive oil. Must have oil in a glaze, right? Garlic ginger paste. And our chai spice plus our coriander. If you can get it, always grind your coriander from whole, or else it just doesn't taste right. You lose a lot of those beautiful citrusy top notes and that just fresh nuttiness. Put that on in there. And your whisk is going to be so handy here. Be really gentle when you're trying to mix this to start with. I'll pull this over. I'm being gentle because I don't want it sloshing out of here. As you can see, we've got things laying in layers there, and the honey will automatically try to rest on the bottom. You don't want to let it do that. You want to whisk that stuff on in there until it can become a uniform texture. It can go right back into our Pyrex. Tonight, this is going to get so yummy. And we're going to let that sit and meld together and become very happy. Why? Because we want our flavors to just be absolutely coming together and bolstering each other as much as possible. Chai spice does so well with any fruit, and it's going to really bolster the flavor of your fruit as well as the fruit bolstering the flavor of the chai spice. The honey will bring out a lot of those natural sweet notes, and oh my gosh, who does not love orange juice and honey together? I mean, you add in some of those really rich musky notes from our balsamic vinegar, and you are so, so good. So why don't we see how that chicken is doing? I will be right back. Would you look at that? Oh my gosh. It is so good, and it smells so good. My mouth is watering so bad. And thank you so much to our helper in here. So what do we say? I'll tell you how this tastes. Would you look at that? I love what kind of caramelization a good glaze can give things. Oh my word. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure you go ahead and put on that glaze at several points in the cooking process, as well as when you serve, have it available by all means. So from the kitchens of Oren More Meadery and Heart's Desire Spice Blends, we want you definitely to keep things tasty. And that is honey orange glazed chai chicken. And baby, can you get any better? I'm not so sure. Have a great one. We will see you next week.